Alright, so for this one we're asked to solve the triangle. So I'm going to find all of the angles and then all of the sides. So lowercase a is across from the angle capital A, lowercase b is across from the angle capital B, and then this will just be C, and we have no idea what C is. So let's write this down. Angle A is equal to 31, that's the capital letter A, 31 degrees. Capital B we don't know yet, and then capital C we don't know. Lowercase a is equal to 11, lowercase b is equal to 19, lowercase c is equal to, we don't know yet. So for this is a sine of, or law of sines function. So in other words, if I say sine of capital A, well, let's solve for C. So let's do it this way. Lowercase a over sine of A, capital A, is equal to, well, I gotta think for a second here. Lowercase c, see, I don't know the angle for C, so let's find the angle for B. So I was doing the right thing, sorry. You have to think it through a little bit, like you could set them up, but you want to find out what's going to work best for you. So if I say sine of A over lowercase a is equal to sine of B, capital B, over lowercase b, I know this, and I know this. So you got to make sure that you know 3 out of the 4. Okay, and then you solve for the 4th item. In other words, I could say sine of 31 degrees all over 11 is equal to sine of b all over 19. So I have 3 of the 4. Now I can solve this by cross multiplying. In other words, if I say sine, well, actually I'm going to do this a different way. I'm just going to find out what this number is. So I'm going to say sine of 31 degrees divided by 11. And I get 0.04682 is equal to sine of b all over 19. Now we've seen this before. The only thing I got to do is multiply this by 19. The reason I do that is I want to undo the dividing by 19, right? So multiplication is the opposite of division. And whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other. So I'm going to take this number and multiply it by 19. And I'll get 0.9, right? So I get, well, let me write this out a little further. I'll say 0.8896, and that's approximately equal to sine of capital B. Then in the next line, I'm going to take the arc sine, or the inverse of sine, of this side, because when I do that, it cancels the sines out. But remember, whatever I do on one side, I got to do on the other. So I'm going to say second sine 0.8896, close the parentheses, and I get 62.9. So that's the measure for angle B, is 62.9, roughly, approximately, okay? And then to find the last angle, measure C, remember that the measure for angle C is equal to 180 minus the sum of 31 plus 62.9. So I'm going to put that in the calculator. 180 minus, in parentheses, 31 plus 62.9, close parentheses, and I get 86.1. So the measure of angle C is approximately 86.1 degrees. Okay. Alright. So now that I've got the measure for angle C, I can use the law of sines to solve for this last piece, which is C. Okay, so what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to do law of sine, so I'm going to say lowercase c over sine of c is equal to, I'll do a over sine of a. So this is going to be lowercase c over sine of 86.1 is equal to a, which is 11, over sine of 31. Okay, so I'm going to do some plug and chug on the calculator here real quick. So 11 divided by sine of 31 is 21.3576, and that's equal to C, and I'm just going to plug this in as a decimal and see what we get. So sine of 86 degrees, 86.1 degrees, is equal to 0.9977. So now what I'm going to do, I'm not going to have room to write it down on my piece of paper, but I'm going to multiply both sides by this number here, and it will cancel here, and then 21 times this 0.9977 number. So that times 21.3576 and it's really pretty, because it's almost 1 when you look at it. So the actual, all it did was bump me up, or actually it bumped it down a little bit, to 21.3 if I approximate it. And that's it. So now if I were to label the triangle, what I have is I have 21.3, angle B is 62.9 degrees, angle C is 86.1 degrees, and that's it.